The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position of ONTV's management, staff, or board of directors.
Detroit basketball.
And hello and welcome into Views from the Sideline. I'm Joey Tysick, across from me, Malik Hill, as always. And we're in the middle of May now, where it is just drudgy, dreary weather outside right now. It's like we're in the 70s, 80s degrees, but nothing but rain this week. But the good news is
we get a peak of sunshine on the weekend, but
yes.
Yeah.
But the good news is the Detroit sports are still on the rise. Things are going well. We had some magic happen with the Tigers last night. The Pistons did get eliminated, but we'll talk about their series, how they did and what they can improve on going into next year. The Lions season is right around the corner. The NFL schedule is actually released tonight, so that'll be cool.
Yeah. Camps are starting soon. The rookie camps are out the way.
NBA draft combine, so the NBA draft is right around the corner as well, right after the playoffs are finished. So a lot of things going on, and we have to start right away with those Detroit Tigers. We haven't talked about the Tigers, I don't know how long, and we keep thinking about talking about them, and then we don't.
Listen, but before we get into the deep description, first in the division, 28-15. First in the AL. First in the league.
Yeah.
What happened? I
don't know.
They flipped a switch.
The
Everything's
magic
starting to come together. Team of Destiny? Question mark.
The
Team
magic
of Destiny.
from last year's run to make the playoffs seemingly just continues.
It's carrying over
into now. I don't know how. I don't know why. But everything is just clicking. Now, the one constant that they have is definitely their pitching. Their pitching rotation is fantastic.
Torque is developing to be. I mean, not Torque.
Tarek Skubal.
I'm sorry. Is developing to be maybe one of the best pitchers of the generation if he stays healthy and can keep this going.
Yeah. And then you got Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize, who's injured at the moment, but I think he's only on the 10-day. Reese Olson, and then I feel like I'm missing somebody. Jackson Jobe, he's gotten off to a little bit of a rocky start, but he's still young.
And we do not bring up Maeda.
Well, he's
Leave
gone.
him.
So,
yeah. Now we don't have to bring him up anymore.
Nice little experiment.
Yeah.
But the pitching has been good. Like you said, Tarek Skubal just kind of being that ace that he was last year. They're still working on contract extension, which is a little annoying, I would say.
Yeah.
But the biggest surprise, obviously, is the offense. They are scoring tons and tons of runs.
Like crazy.
And they are just manufacturing things. They're not going they're hitting more home runs than I ever would have thought, but they're not going crazy with the home runs necessarily. They're just hitting and hitting and hitting, and it's all very timely.
It's not just 2 or 3 guys.
No.
It's 4 or 5, 6, some games 6, 7.
Yeah.
Tyler Sweeney gets on runs. It extends.
Yeah. Zach McKinstry has been really good for the team. Spencer Torkelson, he's not hitting for average, but he's hitting.
I said Tyler Sweeney. I meant Trey Sweeney.
Trey
I'm sorry.
Sweeney.
Yeah.
He's hitting for power, which is awesome to see. And then Javier Baez. The running joke for a lot of people was Javier Baez or whatever. They're doing some fancy name to say that it's not him. But Javi Baez is playing out of his mind right now.
At least for now, he's back to when he played for the Cubs.
Yeah, he's revitalized his career. He's hitting .319. I think he only has 5 home runs, but he has 24 RBIs. And he's playing multiple positions. He's playing shortstop, he's playing third, and he's playing center field. And the center field one was the big move in the offseason. And he's been
worked
playing
out so far
really well.
Yeah.
So, and the biggest, the biggest thing too, last night's game, playing against the Red Sox, who stole, quote unquote, stole Alex Bregman from us, although they paid way too much for him.
Yeah.
So the Tigers had kind of a mission to win that game. They won the previous game like 14-1 or something like that. But then last night's game went into extras. Red Sox took a lead in the 10th, I believe, and the 9th and the 10th. Both times the Tigers responded. The big thing, Javi Baez had 2 3-run home runs,
including
the walk-off
Yeah.
to win it last night. Insane. I hate FanDuel for having to have a subscription, so I can't watch the game, even though it's on a nationally televised broadcast.
It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Still makes me angry, but it is what it is. It's cool to see. It's exciting. Fans are showing back up to Comerica, and unfortunately, ticket prices are also going up, but that's a whole nother story that just happens. But we're getting the Tigers back. We haven't seen the Tigers in years, it feels like.
It almost seems like when we were in high school and a little before that, when they were making that run in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
That it's been that long.
Yeah.
Since there was some hope. And this is more than hope. This seems like a bit like a big time team.
Yeah.
Like a team that can go for a long run.
Right. And the good thing is we've already seen them, like they went on some winning streaks, but then they lost a couple. They lost the series to the Rangers kind of out of the blue, but like that's going to happen. But we're already seeing them rebound from that series, beating the Red Sox now. And like they can just keep playing at the pace they're going, and they can creep on 90 to 100 wins in the season, which is crazy. And at that point, they could win the division.
Yeah. Now their division is very competitive. The top 3, there's some quality teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they can keep this up, it shouldn't be a doubt that they're going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be a doubt.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing too is it just shows that like the upper management sticking to their guns, not like going crazy with a spending spree, developing within. You know, it's worked out. A lot of people were questioning it. I was questioning it. I still think maybe they could still go for somebody at some point, but they're not overpaying. They're not overreaching, and right now it's working out. And when you have a foundation of just a crazy good rotation, that's a good foundation to have. You can find hitters usually a little bit easier. So yeah, I think the future for this team is exciting. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I'm looking forward to going to a few games this summer.
Yeah, I know
it is going to be really fun in downtown Detroit this summer because of the Tigers.
Yeah, I know we're going to a game in June or July. I can't remember. A series where the Blue Jays are coming to town. We have a friend that plays for the Blue Jays.
I did not know this. That is really cool.
Yeah, so he played in the minors, but he got called up a couple weeks ago. So
Nice.
we're going to go to that game against the Tigers, which should be fun. But yeah, I'm excited to get down to the park. I haven't been down to Comerica in quite a while.
I've been to, I think, 3 games in the past, 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a few.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually a good time. And again,
including the playoff game last year, which was electric.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. So it's exciting times because, again, it's just another thing to go do downtown. And I think Tigers games are just like baseball games are just fun to just go hang out.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like basketball or football where you have to be like intensely watching every single pitch if you don't want to. It's kind of like a casual experience, but it's fun. The environment's cool. Usually the weather is nice.
Yeah, I think it's the one sport where, honestly, watching on TV, I'm not the biggest fan, but when I'm at Comerica, I enjoy watching baseball when I'm there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people share that sentiment too, that they don't really like watching it on TV because it's boring, it's slow. I'm not necessarily one of those people. I do like watching a good baseball game every now and then on TV. I don't as much because I'm not following it as often. It's not like top of my priorities list. Like back in high school, I used to watch all the time. I watched baseball throughout the whole summer because I didn't have anything else to really do besides go outside, hang out.
Yeah.
But with limited time as you get into your adulthood, it's like you got to pick a couple sports to watch and then you got other priorities. So, yeah, I would like to be able to watch a couple games here and there. But again, the FanDuel thing is rough for around here. But it's cool to see the Tigers winning. I'm excited to see where they can go and continue this playoff run or playoff push, hopefully, that we can see them in more playoff games and get closer to the World Series again. Like, that's not out of the question right now, the way that they're playing, the pace that they're on.
Listen, I'm seeing there are some analysts and like older retired players that are like really starting to hype up the Tigers.
Mhm.
I saw a post earlier from Pedro Martinez. He said Tigers Padres World Series. Like it's starting to become a thing.
Yeah, I think that's the other crazy thing too to think about is like right now we're being compared to the Padres and the Dodgers, two of the top teams.
Listen, we're better than the Yankees right now.
Yeah.
Which is something else.
A whole nother story. Aaron Judge is having one of the craziest seasons of all time right now. So to be compared to the Yankees, these top teams, like that's a quick turnaround. Not quite as quick as the Pistons, but like the way that we finished last season to barely make the playoffs, win a series, and then everybody thought, well, cool, we made the playoffs, but what's it going to look like next year? We still need some bats. And it just kind of all working out.
The fact everybody that like needed to take a step is taking like more than just one step. Like Torque is taking multiple steps. Javi is going from like good to terrible back to good now. Like everybody's getting either back to where they were or taking the next step to where they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that coming together at once it doesn't happen for all the time for teams. So that's why it kind of seems like destiny with these guys.
Yeah, and now it's just all about maintaining it. Like, just maintain this pace. You can go on some losing streaks, but as long as you follow those up by some winning streaks, like, they're going to be just fine, and they're going to be good. So, yeah, I'm excited. Have you watched any other baseball at all?
I honestly have not. I've watched some highlights. I haven't watched any full games.
Okay. Because I did want to just bring up the Aaron Judge thing while we're talking about baseball. And I mention historically because right now, and I know it's still early in the season, Aaron Judge is hitting .410 with 14 home runs
and 40 RBIs.
And 40 RBIs to lead in every category.
Listen, this is like Barry Bonds type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a small sample so far.
Right.
But
right now, he is on Triple Crown pace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the last time we saw a Triple Crown, I don't know. I was going to say Cabrera, but there might have been a year where Mike Trout did it. I can't remember. That's how much I haven't watched baseball in the last while. The other crazy thing that I saw, because again, I'm diving back into more baseball stats and things. Did you know that Aroldis Chapman is 37?
Listen, that's crazy.
He was a phenom when he came out, and I was super excited because he threw over 103-4 miles an hour.
Listen, I felt old when I saw was Evan Longoria? Is he going into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
that blew my mind.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean he ended his career with like the San Francisco Giants, I believe.
Crazy. I remember watching him all the time when I was younger. Like,
I mean, even thinking about it, Shohei Ohtani is 30 years old, and he's been in the league for 8 years. I think I saw.
He's been in the league for. There's
like
no way he's been in the league for.
Yeah, I was like just looking.
There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, didn't he come to the Angels in like, what was it, like 2018?
Yeah, I think it's 2018.
Jeez, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It does not seem like that long.
Right. It's kind of crazy. So that's why I was saying, like, I'm kind of still catching up on things because my era of players is basically all gone. But, yeah, it's just insane to think about. And the numbers, like I said, that Aaron Judge are putting up right now is just incredible. So as much as I don't like the Yankees, he's another one of those kind of players that's like built in a lab. And yeah, he's also 6'7".
Yeah.
282 pounds. Like he just is
and he was a late bloomer, which is the funniest part.
Yeah. Okay. So going on to the NBA. Before we get into the playoff talk, let's talk about that draft lottery. Happened just last night. And once again, the number one pick did not go to the worst team in the league. So
3 straight years, the worst team got the 5th pick.
Yeah.
And the 3 worst teams got 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm. The only good news was the Pistons did not have to worry about the lottery.
They're winners in my eyes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff open for the Pistons.
For the first time in 3 years, we do not have the 5th pick. So, yeah. The odds were what? The Jazz were the worst team, then the Wizards, then the Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of those teams made the top 3.
Yeah.
And so it came down to Dallas, San Antonio, and who was that third team?
Did Philly get the 3rd pick? Or
Philly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Philadelphia. those were the top 3 teams in the lottery. I was terrified that San Antonio was going to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, everybody was.
And that would have been terrible. But they ended up with the number 2 pick, which might be just as bad.
You pick your poison because they were getting Cooper Flag, or they're perfectly set up to get Giannis. So
yeah,
it was either or.
Meanwhile, at the 1.8%, the Mavericks got the number 1 pick. After trading away superstar Luka Doncic, Nico Harrison has a chance to somewhat redeem himself.
Isn't it funny, Joey?
Yes.
You get paid back after a secret trade.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious.
Hey, the NBA is rigged, man.
Hey.
A lot of people think so.
It's been this way for years.
Yeah.
They did the Kings wrong in 2002. It goes way back.
Sorry, Kings fans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now Dallas has the opportunity to take Cooper Flag. Some people think they should trade the number 1 pick.
Just take Cooper Flag. Just like you lose a generational talent in Luka. I don't think Cooper is going to live up to what Luka did.
Mm-hmm.
Like his production is elite.
Yeah.
The elite of the elite.
And like a lot of people say, like Cooper Flag might take a year to get going. He's got a lot of talent, but he may not be fully ready to go right out.
And he may have runway to be able to be ready like when it's time to make a playoff push.
Right.
Because he has AD and other vets around him.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, like a lot of people are pointing out, he's a two-way player. So he already has like a good baseline for him to improve.
Yeah.
And the other thing a lot of people are talking about is like you can have a front court of Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively. Like that is shut down. That is locked down.
Cooper Flag at the 3 is very scary.
Yeah.
Because he can handle and play make and score and he can do everything. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And so now, like, I mean, it's not going to be next year, unfortunately. It's going to be basically the year after. But they'll have Kyrie, potentially Klay Thompson. I would assume he might get replaced by that point. Cooper Flag, AD, and Derek Lively. That is a good lineup.
Yeah.
And I can understand, just hear me out, I can understand the idea of people saying, go get Giannis for that. Because then, like, their window is now.
What Nico said, the 3 to 4 year window. That guarantees a run to at least the conference finals, most likely.
But the counterpoint that I've heard a lot of people bring up, which makes a lot of sense too, is that Kyrie is basically out next year. So next year is basically a wash. So to give Cooper Flag a year of development.
You have a future while trying to contend.
Right. So you don't have to worry about next year. Maybe you make some signings. You got a couple guys that come off the books, I believe. And they can adjust from there and then kind of decide. So you lose out on the Giannis sweepstakes, but you get back into that mode of you can still win now, but you also have a future. So I think it's the best of both worlds. And like we mentioned, that means that the San Antonio Spurs now have the best chance of getting Giannis because they own the number 2 pick. They have Stephon Castle.
They also have number 14.
They also have number 14, so they can package number 2, number 14, and Stephon Castle for Giannis. I'm
assuming Milwaukee will ask for one more guy like Sohan or something.
Well, there's the money situation. I don't know exactly what it would look like.
Yeah.
But it would be some sort of combination of that. And then San Antonio Spurs have De'Aaron Fox, Giannis, and Victor Wembanyama.
And Devin Vassell, who could be
a
high-level role player for a winning team. So don't take that for granted for sure. But to have I just hate the idea of seeing Giannis and Victor Wembanyama on the same team. It's absurd.
Sounds
I almost cussed instead of a word I shouldn't say.
It sounds terrifying.
It's freaking absurd.
Yeah.
Them like at the 4 and 5. Come on.
Yeah.
How do you stop that in the paint?
No. They're like the thing you could they could hold hands across and they would cover the
hands
whole
across
court,
America.
probably.
But then the thing is, Giannis will be the Giannis will be the post player.
God. Anyway, yeah.
Now Giannis will be the post player.
Yeah, and Victor would basically be
Victor
the stretch
can dribble
forward.
and shoot as much as he want to.
Yeah,
and they can do pick and rolls that it's absurd.
And then
they can both take a rebound and go full court.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox can run the pick and roll.
Yeah,
and then Devin Vassell can be a knockdown shooter.
Play defense, stand and shoot.
Yeah,
like a upgraded Bruce Bowen, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's scary.
It's ridiculous.
So
it is absolutely ridiculous.
Kind of hope it doesn't happen, but
listen,
right now it's looking pretty good.
Listen, with Popovich stepping down and becoming El Jefe,
Yeah.
the president of operations. I would be happy for him with like his health problems,
Mm-hmm.
and like I think Pop deserves one more run.
Yeah.
Being in that organization, so it doesn't make me mad.
Yeah.
And seeing the Spurs good,
I think it's annoying.
It's not a bad. It's a little annoying. But
I'm
seeing
not a
the
big-
Spurs good, we're used to it. Seeing the
Yeah.
Spurs good,
But that's what's annoying about it. The Spurs, like,
it's not the Lakers.
the
It's
Spurs
not like
give
the.
me, yeah, but they're close. The Spurs give me so many bad memories.
I have true that 05,
Like-
it hurt my soul.
Right.
But I have so much respect for Tim and Manu and all those guys.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a single Spur that I hate,
Right.
except for maybe Tiago Splitter because I just couldn't stand him. But
Robert Horry.
I guess
I just can't. Okay, I can't.
yeah, he hit the shot,
There's a
but
reason.
it was because of Rasheed leaving the
Yeah. It was a terrible closeout.
Mhm.
But anyway, I digress. So that leaves the Sixers with the third pick, which is going to be one of the Rutgers guys, Dylan Harper or Ace
Listen,
Bailey.
They can do a soft rebuild, like, and they can think about trading Joel or PG. Like they're in a decent position now.
I don't know what they're going to do, but they got a lot of work to do.
You got Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need another guard.
No.
You don't need
Well,
take Ace Bailey.
So that's
who could be Paul George all over again.
But I think that's the scary part for the Sixers at 3 is that if by chance Milwaukee trades for the number 2 pick, they may
could
take Ace Bailey
yeah.
because he's the big to sort of replace Giannis.
But
That-
also with the Dame stuff in the air, like either option is there.
Yeah.
Either option.
But if the Sixers are sitting there and the next like 4 players are all guards. You have like Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, Con Knipple, and
Trey Johnson would be up
Trey
there.
Johnson.
Yeah.
So 5. Jacobone. Why? Jasper.
Kasparis, the guard from Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I can't think of his last name all of a
We'll
sudden.
get his pronunciation exactly correct when it's draft time. I think it's Kasparis, and I forgot how to pronounce his last name. But yeah.
Wow. I can't
We'll
believe
get
I'm
it
drawing a
later.
blank. But those are like all guards. So
Yeah.
like
Although, like some of their builds, like some of them are like 6'4", 6'5". Trey
Mhm.
Johnson is almost 6'8".
yeah.
Kaka Nipple is like 6'6", like 215.
Mhm.
Dylan Harper is like 6'6", 215. Like
Yeah.
there's different ways you can play it.
Right. So it's just interesting, I think. And then like we mentioned, I think the Hornets are the 4th pick. Or the Wizards.
I think the Hornets are 4th.
And then the Jazz are the 5th pick.
So I was wrong about it being 5, 6, 7. I think the Hornets get 4.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly. But so yeah, the Jazz now, unfortunately. But the Jazz could get somebody like Con Knipple, which would be good for them to just have like a knockdown shooter. But they didn't get the number 1 pick, which again.
Charlotte 4, Utah 5, Washington 6, New Orleans 7.
Yeah. Poor New Orleans. I was hoping for a miracle.
Listen, the lottery's still pretty stacked. So like, if they got VJ Edgecombe, it would still be a win
Yeah.
because that kid is going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the draft lottery happened last night. It was fun. I'm excited for this draft. The draft, kind of like you said, the lottery is pretty deep, but the prize was Cooper Flag. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Makes next year's season really interesting to watch too, because like we said, with Giannis asking for a trade, things could get pretty heated coming up. Let's talk about the Pistons before we get into the deeper part of the playoffs too. So the Pistons got knocked out by the Knicks. Just could not close games.
Yeah. Another situation in the end where they could have won.
Yep.
But Cade is the only go-to scorer. Isaiah Stewart out, Jaden Ivey out. Yeah.
And Cade struggled in the end. I think we kind of mentioned it a little bit a couple weeks ago, but same thing kind of happened to end the series. They just couldn't get it done in clutch time. So yeah, it's still the point of Cade needs somebody else. So now Pistons are rumored in the Giannis talk. I don't think it's going to actually happen, but they have been named a couple times that the Pistons are there. But yeah. So now that we know the actual outcome, how we saw the season play out, we've talked about it before, but what do you want to see the Pistons go out and do this offseason?
So re-signing Beasley, I think should be a priority. Re-signing Dennis Schroeder on a easy deal, that shouldn't take much. We'll see. because he's had weird things with his agent before. So at this point in his career, it shouldn't be hard to resign Dennis Schroeder. You got those two. You may lose Tobias or trade him. Tim Hardaway's probably gone.
Mhm.
Reshuffle the vets. Get the right vets in again.
Mm-hmm.
Tobias was perfect. Tim was perfect. They don't have to be perfect options again, but guys that fit into the culture.
Mm-hmm.
They play hard, play defense, play smart on offense, those types of vets. They're out there. It's up to Trajan to find those guys. Then we get to the big one. A potential big trade. It's up to each Pistons fan of who you like and who you don't like. What the deal, like there's the Zion option. I've heard some Jaylen Brown stuff because the Celtics are going to have to ship several guys because of their money situation.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you want. Some people are still shooting for the stars on Devin Booker.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not happening.
Yeah.
Some people think Kevin Durant could be an option, which I wouldn't be against. It's up to the fan perspective at that point.
Yeah.
But that's the big one. What trade do they make and who do they go after?
Right. Yeah, and I'm still kind of juggling what I would think would be the best move for the Pistons. You know, I've brought up Domantas Sabonis before. I don't know. I don't think that's like a realistic
We talked about
one.
that, and I thought it was decent. But
Yeah.
like you said, it may not be possible.
Right. I just like the fit, personally. So, like, if the Celtics were to break things up, I wouldn't mind, instead of Jaylen Brown, I wouldn't actually mind going after Kristaps, to be honest.
Well, he's not hurt right now. He has an illness.
Right.
Even though he has a sketchy injury history.
Yeah.
You saw what he did in that Celtics last season. He averaged 20 a game.
Right.
He was the fourth option.
Yeah.
Like he still can be that guy when he's ready to go in there.
Yeah. I still just like the idea of a stretch forward that can also defend and things
Yeah.
like that. Having KP and Jalen Duren in
That
the
takes
middle,
pressure off of Jalen.
it would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think I'd still swing for Zion because I get all of the people that don't want to have Zion.
The risk reward is very
Yeah, but I think there's still so much unlocked potential
I agree.
that's what I'd rather go for.
We both agree that we think in the right location he can still lock in.
Yeah.
How old is he? 23, 24?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And at his peak, he is better than all of those guys that we're talking about.
He's a walking 27 a game.
Yeah.
Like on 60% shooting whenever he's playing.
Yeah.
And he's only been in like very good shape twice.
Right. Yeah. And then that's the point where you have to just be able to get those veterans that you're talking about that can shoot around him.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he's not the greatest shooter. He's improved his three-point shooting, but he's not known for that. He's kind of a bully ball kind of guy. But he'll take pressure off Cade, which would be good. Gives you a different look. And the pick and roll would still work really well with those guys. They could do some really cool play design, I think, between him, Duren, and Cade. So I think that's still the one I would shoot for. I don't know if I love the Jaylen Brown one, just personally.
It seems like a seamless fit.
Mm-hmm.
Just put him at the 3.
Yeah.
Bring back Jaden Ivey. Like it seems like it would make perfect sense.
Yeah, I get the
But,
idea of it. Just personally, I don't think I would like it. And then Kevin Durant is a really weird one too, because he's at the eclipse of his career.
But he's a guaranteed like
Oh,
25.
yeah,
even at this point,
yeah,
he's a guaranteed. Even if he doesn't average 25, he's scoring over
Right.
20 a game.
and you have to start thinking like he's better than Cade even at his age right now.
Yeah.
So like those kind of guys like Cade, or KD, Devin Booker, those guys immediately
Yeah,
come in.
you
They're
don't-
the number one
yeah,
guy.
You don't have to rush Jaden Ivey if you have KD.
Right. And it gives Cade even a little more pressure off of him again. So I don't mind it. But again, Zion being so young gives you even more time to have him. Things
His
like that.
reward is the highest,
Yeah.
but also the risk is.
And with any of these trades, Tobias has to be involved. He has the biggest cap hit
Mhm.
for the team. So he's gone, which is unfortunate because, again, he always, when he comes here, he's been a fan favorite. And then my biggest question mark right now, and I know a lot of people think it might be crazy, but I'm indifferent about Malik Beasley right now. I like
Because
that
of the playoffs, or
maybe, but I'm getting nervous that his money might be too big. Like he might be one of those guys that people are going to offer a lot of money. And if they get to a certain point, like, I don't know if I want the Pistons matching it.
yeah,
Because
if Malik
he's-
Beasley is going for like 120,
Yeah, like
over like 3-4 years. Like, come on.
I know
like,
it sounds crazy, but
even
like,
though the cap is going up and
Right.
the money goes up, yeah.
but the cap going up makes people want to spend more money. Some people get more desperate.
Mhm. He just made the most threes in the league. He was
Yeah.
second in sixth man of the year.
Right.
Part of a playoff team. Like, yeah.
So that makes me a little bit nervous. Not that I don't want him back. I do think the playoff performance was very disappointing, but I just think he might ask for too much money, and I don't want us to spend so much on a guy that's not necessarily one-dimensional, but kind of that. Again, he's that sixth man, but he's a little bit streaky. He doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't provide enough to get that kind of contract for me personally.
Yeah. He's not exactly 3 and D,
Right.
but when he's going, he's like,
Yeah.
he gets the energy of the whole team going.
Right.
Like, he was arguably the second most important player on the Pistons this year.
Yeah.
In their huge, like, all-time NBA turnaround.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I like that he bought into the team. Like, that's a big factor to play for a Detroit sports team. Like,
Mhm.
you have to love it. You have to buy into it. So I can appreciate that. I'm just nervous about it. So that's my only like caveat. And then beef stew, he can go. I don't care.
See,
I know it sounds terrible, and he's another
it's not-
one.
I can't say I don't care because he's such a high-level defender.
Yeah.
And if he was playing, we know that series would have been completely different. That's the thing. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
understand.
again, you have to find pieces
Yeah.
that people are
Something
willing
has to go.
people are willing to want if we want to make a trade. Like Tobias it's instantly gone because of his salary cap. Then you have to add on young talent. So you have to decide between guys like Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, Ron Holland, Osar Thompson. Who are you willing to give up? Isaiah Stewart, I think, is the easiest one out of all of those guys. So that's why I always immediately just say, I don't need Isaiah Stewart on my team.
Yeah.
The hard one is when it comes down to like Asar and Ron Holland, because when you think of bigger trades, I think most teams already see what we see in that there's more potentially in Ron Holland still that we haven't seen. So teams might ask for him over Asar, where I'd be more willing to give up Asar than Ron Holland.
I think we might differ on this one.
Really? Okay.
It's because we had this debate like shortly in text before, but
Yeah.
once people started comparing like the numbers and seeing what like Asar versus Amin, like they are one-of-one athletes that give you things that 90% of people in the league can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be so terrified of giving that up.
Yeah.
Like you give him more minutes as he gets better next year. And like he could be an absolute X factor on both ends of the floor in big situations.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to give that up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Houston Rockets, they see Amin becoming like something bigger than what I think could be.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my eyes, I see him as like a souped up Sean Marion.
Yeah.
Asar could be that also. Like he could make a few all-star teams just off of, he could be an all defensive player. He could average like 15, 8, and like 6, like the possibilities are endless for Asar. Now Ron Holland, there's the whole like Kawhi build, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what type of three he could become. He could become like a superstar and a high-level scorer. I think Asar is so rare that I'd be afraid to give him up.
Yeah.
Like you've seen Ron Hollins, even though he could become something better. There are, but outside of Amin and Asar, there aren't others like them. And I feel like you got to give him more minutes next year and see what he becomes with that elite physical ability he has.
Yeah.
That's where I differ with that one.
Right. Which, again, we will do an episode with Chris where we're talking about all Pistons. We'll go more into that kind of stuff. But I think it's interesting to start talking about because, again, this is going to be one of the biggest off seasons for the Pistons that we've had in a long time.
Especially seeing no Cooper Flag in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis is most likely gone from the East.
Yep. We just said the Celtics are going to have to break
Jason
down.
Tatum is gone for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics breaking down. Outside of the Pacers, like the Pistons and the Magic have the most open opportunity to step up to the top 4, potentially top 3, and do something.
Yeah. And, I mean, people are saying the Magic right now potentially could be better than the Pistons.
They've got the duo, which is the advantage.
Right.
But their supporting cast is still up in the air.
Right. Probably not as good as the Pistons.
Yeah, and I'd take JB over Jamal Mosley right now, coaching wise.
Yeah. So good season for the Pistons overall. Can't wait to build on it. Hopefully they're back as well. So now we have the Lions officially, the Pistons, and the Tigers. Red Wings, they're going to be in turmoil for a little bit longer.
They're still figuring things out, but yeah, things are looking up very well.
Yeah. So exciting times. Oh, I know we keep pushing off the playoffs, but I forgot about this little topic that we need to talk about really quick because it's the same as before. Sharon Moore suspended for 2 games. Go.
I don't even.
2 meaningless games once again.
I don't see why it was necessary. I don't know why Ward Manuel didn't
these were
step in.
I also meant to say these were internally made.
Yeah, unless the NCAA is sweating down your backs,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like they're really not right now. I don't see why it was necessary.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's unnecessary cushioning to me.
Yeah, again, it's weird. Similar to when they suspended Jim Harbaugh, that these are 2 meaningless games. Michigan should win those games with or without Sharon Moore. Just interesting. Interesting that this is still going on, to be honest. Anyway, NBA playoffs, they've continued. We've seen some pretty bad injuries, like we just kind of mentioned. Jason Tatum with his Achilles, he's going to be out until basically next year. And next year meaning 2026. Probably February, to be honest. Something around that time period. Stephen Curry dealing with a hamstring injury that he's never had before. He's not going to be back until Game 6 if they even make it that far. And and then there's just been some weird series. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the series that just ended?
We can.
So the Cavs and the Pacers ended 4-1 in the Pacers' favor.
Nobody saw it coming.
Pretty convincingly. And right after Donovan Mitchell reached his first ever second round playoff run, he immediately gets eliminated very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cavaliers just looked pretty bad.
They looked fake.
Yeah. And Donovan Mitchell was really inefficient.
He had one really good game, but yeah.
He kept them in some games, but he also hurt them in a lot of games. Last night, he missed 3 straight free throws. And they were only down by 6. And then he hit a 3, so they were down by 3. So he could have basically tied the game with that 3, but he missed 3 free throws in the clutch. I don't know. There's not much to say. And then Miles Turner knocks down a huge 3 to close out the game. And the Pacers are just getting it done.
They make plays every time they need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost frustrating because they're clearly not like a special team,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason they rise to the occasion.
And they never have one guy that's just dominating.
And they take advantage of their opportunities too, because there's injuries that happen with other teams. It's the playoffs.
Yeah,
these things happen, and they take advantage of it every single time.
Right.
And you got to respect that.
Yeah.
You got to respect it.
Like Halliburton isn't getting a triple-double every night. Sometimes it's Halliburton. Sometimes it's Miles Turner. Sometimes it's Pascal Siakam. Like Andrew Nembhard. Like they just got guys. And they're knocking down shots. They're getting it done. And they're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then on the other side, the Knicks just keep doing what they did to the Pistons. They're losing the whole game.
You start off slow.
And in the fourth quarter, they just decide they're going to come back.
Things start getting interesting in the third. And then in the fourth, they just kick it into high gear.
Yeah. And the Celtics have just, even almost worse than what the Pistons were doing, are blowing leads like insane.
Those first 2 games.
20-point leads.
Back-to-back 20-point leads.
Like, I turned both of those games off because I thought, oh, man, the Celtics are just going to wipe this series. It's going to be 4-0. The Knicks are up 3-1 in the series with Jason Tatum out.
They played their first complete game this last game.
Yeah.
Where all their guys were, like, on top of their game.
Right. And Jalen Brunson continues to dominate.
Listen, I saw a stat the other day. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
He's averaging the most points in the fourth of all-time greats in the past 25 years.
The last
he's ahead of 2011 Dirk, 2003 Kobe, 97 Jordan. Like, he's averaging a little over 10 points a game in the fourth.
Yeah.
and it's convincing. Like it's no fake.
I think the next closest was Dirk in 2011.
I think
who
he
had
was
like
averaging like
9.
9 point something in 2011.
Yeah, so that just tells you what kind of company he's in right now. And we all may hate his game and the way that he plays.
But listen, when he's not foul baiting, he plays a beautiful game of basketball.
Yeah, I mean his clutch shooting is incredible. It's I can't deny it. It's like the thing that I've always said about like Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Like I don't like the way they play, but man, sometimes they just get things done, and that's what Jalen Brunson is doing right now. Mikal Bridges has also hit a lot of big clutch shots.
Yeah.
OG Anunoby is shooting really well from the field.
Whenever they're down in games, he hits threes that like gets them closer and closer.
Yeah.
Like Cat hasn't even been like big time in this series.
I was gonna say Cat still throughout the playoffs hasn't had to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So there's room for him too. And I don't know if you just look at it matchup wise, it feels like they should be able to beat the Pacers.
And listen, and the crazy part is they've stuck with like a 6 to 7 man rotation.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't gone outside of it. Like Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson are like the guys they bring in.
Yeah.
And then a little sprinkle of like campaign for like 10, 11 minutes, and that's it.
Right. So I can't say no matter what because technically the Knicks Celtics isn't over, but we're pretty sure it's going to be wrapped up.
The morale is pretty low for Boston, even though they're back home, but they lost 2 at home.
Yeah. We are going to have either the Knicks or the Pacers in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time.
We're most likely going to have a new champion.
That's the first time since 2001, right? That's when the Pacers made the finals?
I think so. But that 2000 was the Pacers, 2001 was the Sixers.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2000, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Knicks haven't been in the finals since
the 99.
99?
Yeah, the
Latrell Sprewell and those guys.
But what was that season? The strike season, the strike shortened season.
Yes.
The Eastern Conference Finals was Knicks Heat.
Yeah.
Knicks played the Spurs. Spurs won their first championship.
Right. Yep. So, yeah, that's crazy. And then, yeah, like you said, on the Western Conference side, right now, we have the Timberwolves ahead of the Golden State Warriors 3-1.
And that's Steph went down.
Yeah.
Was it a calf strain or I can't
hamstring?
Remember. Okay, yeah, hamstring. He's been out 3 games now.
Yeah, and they said he won't be back till game 6.
Yeah.
If that, and they might not make it to game 6.
And Jimmy and Kuminga, which, hello, Jonathan Kuminga. Steve Kerr was hiding him from the world.
Hey, I sent you the thing where Bill Simmons said the Pistons should go after Jonathan Kuminga. I don't hate it, but
on paper it could work, but
yeah,
it's a little awkward.
But the problem with the Warriors right now is like nobody is stepping up. Even Jimmy Butler, they brought in for these kind of reasons.
He's not going like nuclear like
No.
those Miami Jimmy games.
And he really struggled. Was it last night or 2 nights ago?
Mm-hmm.
He only had like 11 points. Pajemski who they did not want to trade for anything. He's not playing well.
I don't want to be too disrespectful. I'll just say I'm not the biggest Pods guy.
I'm not either. He had some games early on in the season, throughout the season. He's been terrible in this series.
This is what I'll say. He was the Jordan Poole replacement.
Yeah.
And the pool party was much more worth it than this.
And again, the thing that's I think the most frustrating is that like they wanted him so bad and they like pushed out Kuminga and Moses Moody's development for Pods. They didn't want to trade anybody that was wanting Pajemski in any trades. They denied all those trades. And then he just comes up short. Now, I know you got to believe in your guy at some point, but I don't know. I never saw the full potential, I guess. Draymond Green is old, so, he can only provide so much for your team.
Draymond ruined all of this.
How so?
That punch ruined everything.
Ruined the whole franchise.
Jordan Poole was going to step in once Clay was done.
Yeah.
And they were going to keep rolling.
Mm.
That last year after the punch, Jordan Poole still averaged 20.
Yeah.
But the chemistry was clearly messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, the fearless emotional leader that can't control himself half the time.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Hey, it's not his fault, all right? He's being targeted. Did you see that locker room?
We're not even going to go into that. We're not even. I'm going to leave that alone. Draymond, let's move on. Let's move on.
So yeah, it looks like the Timberwolves are going to go to the Western Conference.
Back to the
Finals.
Western Conference Finals, which is good for him and good for Julius Randle.
Yeah, and
He found himself.
Anthony Edwards continues to amaze.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be the Timberwolves making the NBA Finals, which they have not done.
They've never done it.
They've never done it. Yeah,
They made the Western Conference Finals once before
with
last
Garnett.
year with KG.
Yeah,
And they lost to the Lakers in 04.
way back when.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think they made the finals. And then the only like competitive series is the Denver Nuggets and the OKC.
The reason
Thunder.
why I don't see the Wolves making the finals, either one of these
Either of
teams
these
is
teams?
who I, yeah.
Okay. So right now the Thunder just won the pivotal game 5. So they're up 3-2 on the Nuggets. Jokic had a masterclass last night, but just not enough. Similar to the Celtics, but not in quite the same fashion. The Nuggets have been blowing some fourth quarter leads.
Yeah.
They blew a big one last night.
Jokic has honestly been pretty sketchy for some of the series.
Yeah.
Last night was the first like Joker game that people saw.
Yeah. Early on in the series, Jamal Murray really stepped up, and we thought
Mhm.
playoff Jamal was going to be back.
And Michael Porter Jr. had one good game, but we're not going to talk about him.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon, to me, has been like the biggest standout for Denver.
Yeah. He's like their
Like,
most consistent player.
His huge jump and 3-point shooting, whenever they need him to hit a bucket, like he turn around fadeaways, driving
Mm-hmm.
to the rim, like he has been so important. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people like have been calling him Mr. Nugget because he's like the quintessential like Denver Nugget besides
Yeah.
Jokic at this point.
This Dreads era, Aaron Gordon has been
Yeah,
a masterclass.
but it hasn't been enough.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been enough.
Yeah, they haven't got enough production out of their the rest of their bench either. Like,
Who they didn't fully develop, which is
Yeah.
the reason why the whole fallout happened.
well, and the other weird thing too is like Christian Brown has had some decent time at points where
Yeah.
you're like, oh, maybe he's turning the corner. Russell Westbrook turned back the clock like at some points throughout the playoffs.
He's had a pretty good playoff run. Pretty
but
good.
yeah, they're just not fully getting it done. And then the Thunder have just kind of been doing what they've been doing all season.
Shea had his first like really good fourth quarter yesterday.
Yeah.
He's had some bumps and bruises.
Yeah, but their biggest advantage is their 1 through 5 is just so strong.
Yeah.
I think they were all in double digits last night.
Their bench is just straight up better too.
Yeah.
Like flat out. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a comparison.
Yeah. So they have a deep team. They have a chance to make it to the Western Conference Finals, which, like you just mentioned, we're going to have potentially a new champion, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Or I guess technically if the Knicks win, then somebody that hasn't won a championship in a long time. So yeah, it could be exciting.
I'm
either way.
honestly looking forward to Knicks, New York, Indiana, and OKC, Minnesota.
Mhm.
That to me, that's the type of stuff you need every now and then.
Yeah.
You got the constant Lakers, you got the Celtics. They won last year. They had a nice bounce back year.
Mhm.
The Warriors had their dynasty. Bron had his run. You need years like this where fresh faces, who knows what's going to happen, boom, new team appears. Like
Yeah.
you need these types of seasons.
Yeah, and again, kind of like you just mentioned, like new faces, like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander being for OKC, we don't see a ton of them.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get to see him more in prime time
Yeah,
again.
yeah, they haven't even, which is weird that the NBA is doing this now. They haven't even reigned the MVP yet.
Yeah,
We assume it's going to be Shea.
right. So you got SGA, Anthony Edwards, two guys that could be the face of the league. On the Eastern Conference side, you got Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, kind of leading their teams.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's cool. Do you have a lean of like who you would like to see? Not necessarily who you think would win, but do you have a preference of who you'd want to see in the finals?
This is a anti-Pistons opinion because of how much hate everybody had for the Knicks in that series.
Yeah.
But once that series was over, like once they got into like a few games of the Boston series, I got over it. Like I still enjoy watching Jalen Brunson. Seeing the Knicks make a like playoff run is something the league has been waiting on for for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had their run in the 90s, couldn't get over the hump. Jordan beat everybody.
Yeah.
99 was a big surprise. They couldn't build off of that.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like the first time in forever that they have something that could sustain for a little bit. And I'd like to see the Knicks make the finals.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
So the Eastern Conference, no matter what, is basically anti-Pistons because if you would have had the Cavs ended the Pistons 2004 dynasty.
The Pacers was becoming a rivalry.
Pacers have been a rivalry for a long time. They've kind of rejuvenated it a little bit.
Exactly.
The Celtics have been Pistons like Achilles heel since '87.
They ended the Pistons run in the 2000s also. So
Yeah.
them and LeBron.
True.
Them and LeBron.
And then the Knicks more recently, but yeah. So no matter what you do in the Eastern Conference, you're going to run into.
Pick your poison.
Yeah. I think personally, I don't know. I just like the way that Anthony Edwards plays, and he plays both sides of the ball. So I would like to see Minnesota be in the final.
Hey, I think if you get Anthony Edwards in the finals, it's the beginnings of this is the guy we're like pushing to the front.
Right.
Because he has the Kobe Jordan, he has that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna keep attacking nonstop. He has the athleticism, he has the game. Like he has everything. He doesn't have a filter,
Right.
which most people need for a face of the NBA, but personality, game, he has everything you need for the next phase.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, been in the league for a while, but technically the Timberwolves are an expansion team. So it's cool to see that in the Western Conference, we're going to get one of the expansion teams, either one of the original expansion teams or one of the more new expansion teams with the Thunder. But that's going to be cool that one of those franchises could get their first championship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting there. And then in the Eastern Conference, I don't know which way I lean, I guess. Like, I feel like I like the Pacers a little bit more. I like Tyrese Halliburton, and maybe that's the anti-Pistons thing against the Knicks right now. But yeah, I kind of like that the Pacers are kind of a mismatch of players. Whereas, like, the Knicks built this up. They did a good job of building up, but they went out, they got OG Anunoby, they got Karl Anthony Towns, they got Mikal Bridges. It's fun when like the Pacers have kind of built it within. Yes, they did go out and get Pascal Siakam, but a lot of the other guys they drafted and just made the right decisions on. So I think I would like to see Timberwolves Pacers, which,
man,
when you say
crazy.
that, it feels weird.
Yeah.
So I think that's also
like,
exciting.
in your mind, you see the ratings dropping, but as a basketball fan,
Yeah.
it's like this is exciting. This is fresh. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think that would be cool for me personally. Anything else that you have on the playoffs that you'd want to bring up?
I don't think so.
Or recap of anything?
This has been one of the craziest playoffs overall in a few years.
Yeah.
Like the Knicks games coming back from 20 against Boston, Indiana just completely wiping out Cleveland when nobody expected it.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some surprising results.
Lakers getting destroyed. That was great.
That was great. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've enjoyed the surprises. I wish some of the series were closer, like the Pacers and Cavs series. A lot of people expected that to be closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not like disappointed. I always enjoy playoff basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when you get all these types of twists and turns, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. The NFL, there's not a whole lot of news. I guess the only thing we could bring up really quick, because we don't have much time.
Yeah.
There are becoming leaks of the NFL schedule, but I'm excited to see who the Lions will play in prime time.
My stepdad actually sent me while we were doing this Lions Steelers on Thanksgiving.
Wow, that's a
so
weird one.
I think he might try to get a group together to go to that game.
The
Because my family is Steelers fans, and
okay,
he's a Lions fan. I'm a converted Lions fan again, basically.
Yeah, the other one that they said is the Cowboys are hosting the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, so that's a interesting one. But the speaking of the Cowboys, they made a trade for George Pickens.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Does it make the Cowboys good?
I feel like it may not do much.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles are still the Eagles. They're almost the superpower now. And the Commanders, like,
yeah, they
they're
just
on the
revamped their
rise.
offensive line. They're going to be
exactly. They
scary.
they got Deebo Samuel, which when he's healthy, he's still dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they revamped the offensive line. They're still trying to do things on the defense.
Giants are the Giants.
Nobody's afraid. Nobody's afraid of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like this makes their offense more potent.
Mm-hmm.
But Dak can still go full Dak.
Yeah.
Their running game still is nothing to be like excited about.
Yeah, they have Javonte Williams right now.
Cool.
And they drafted Jaden Blue.
Yeah. Now, yeah, they added a few pieces that could help them, and the Tyler Booker draft pick could be really nice. But yeah, nobody's afraid of the Cowboys anymore. Like,
Yeah. And then on the other side of that, speaking of the Steelers, do you think the Steelers are finally trying to tank a little bit?
I'm so tired of this Aaron Rodgers hold up. Like, are we really doing the Mason Rudolph thing? Is this what's happening?
Just traded George Pickens away. You're going to have Mason Rudolph throwing to DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're
Exactly.
tanking.
Yeah. It's strange.
They're going to have a Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren backfield. Oh, boy.
They don't rebuild, so it might be a reset. If they go with Mason Rudolph and Caleb Johnson getting most of the carries, it's a reset. Caleb Johnson is like made for the Steelers, so that was a great pick.
He's a good Najee Harris replacement.
But yeah, we'll have to see. Everybody seems to think they're still holding out for the Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing they can.
I feel Pittsburgh has needed to reset for at least 4 or 5 years now because they haven't been serious about a real Super Bowl run, and that's what they're known for.
Right,
going for Super Bowls, going for playoff runs. So a reset may be what they need. Mason Rudolph, all power to you. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
You know what would be hilarious?
What?
If the Browns either cut or traded Kenny Pickett back to the Steelers. And he became their backup for the season.
No, I think what would be funnier.
Let's just roll this back.
I think so.
Let's get 2 backups.
What would be funnier is the Steelers accepting that deal.
Oh, listen. I don't know who the Steelers backup is right now. Like, Mason Rudolph is supposed to be the starter.
I don't know. I maybe can look it up really quick.
Do they have Mr. Trubisky?
Do they?
They might have Mr. Trubisky. Yeah. Or is he with Buffalo? Man, I'm forgetting.
He was with Buffalo at one point.
Yeah.
He was also with the Steelers at one point. He was with the Bears at one point.
So besides Mason Rudolph, I don't know who else they have.
Where are the Steelers? I don't know either. But yeah, it's going to be weird. Like, I don't know. The NFL could be kind of wild in general right now. Oh, there we go. They got their draft pick.
Who did they draft again? Oh, Will Howard
out of the Ohio State.
Listen, the next Big Ben, I'm sure they think. Listen, Will Howard could be good, but
and then behind him they have Skylar Thompson.
Listen, Will Howard is going to start a few games this season, and we'll see what happens when that happens.
Their receiving core is DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, and Calvin Austin. Although some people think that Roman Wilson is going to come back and he could be the number 2.
Yeah, and Pat Freiermuth. And MSU great Connor Hayward.
He's there
as the H-back.
Yeah, he's like
he catches passes too.
Yeah.
We'll see what Pittsburgh has going on. We'll see.
Anyway, I thought it was funny that you mentioned being a Steelers fan or former. That yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Steelers-Browns divisional game where it's Will Howard versus Shedeur Sanders.
Jeez,
let's get it going.
Looking forward to that?
Yes. Listen, a battle with rookie quarterbacks always gets my blood going.
Okay.
Especially something like that.
Yeah. Oh, the last thing, because we only got a minute. Derek Carr retiring. That made me just think about it.
I used to defend that man. Him and Carson Wentz, I used to defend him hard. He's one of the most confusing, good, bad quarterbacks in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, young Derek Carr had a lot of things going, and the Raiders had hope.
Yeah.
And he got them to the playoffs. Like, he had a weird career.
Yeah.
He had a very strange career.
And now he leaves their offense in shambles because they're either going to go with their rookie, Tyler
Shook,
or
him or Spencer
Rattler, or
cooking.
Jay Kaner.
Jay Kaner ain't starting.
Come on, man.
It's going to be Spencer rattling back there.
Or they're shucking.
Or we're rattling or we're shucking. It's going to be fun times in New Orleans. Listen, they're going to be drinking and having fun in the streets because those football games might not be great.
Honestly, they should get Alvin Kamara out of there.
They trade him and get something back.
Yeah, because
you're obviously starting over.
Yeah, they're in some trouble right now.
Shouts out to Chris Olave. Good luck.
Man.
We are rattling or we are shucking.
Yeah. So speaking of rough quarterback play. All right, this has been Views from the Sidelines. In 2 weeks, we'll be back basically previewing the conference finals for the NBA. We'll probably be in the middle of the conference finals at that point. Even close to over, to be honest, depending. And then, I don't know, we might do some NBA draft talk, more Tigers talk. It's up in the air. We're in that weird period where as soon as the NBA ends, everybody's in the offseason. We just have the Tigers playing.
We're about to actually do some, Tigers talk a few times a month.
We're going to have to.
Yeah. But it's worth it now.
And then I think we're like a month away.
Yeah, there will be some training camp talk. There will be stuff to talk about.
Well, I think we're a month away from trying to do our 300th episode. So, yeah,
Time flies
it does.
when you're talking.
So, we'll see you then. This has been Views from the Sidelines.